Yes, I'm recording.
Make some space. Locate the monitor. Everything on the ground. Is everything in view of the pull the trigger? Other remote?
There we go.
Okay, measure your space. And make it big.
So this is through Steam VR. You always have to set it up.
Every time you initialize it. Got it?
Perfect. Okay. Cool. I want to throw you in. The goal of this project was to test whether muscle memory can be transferred from reality to virtual. So through that, we're using a ball and a target to see if your accuracy with the ball will transfer to virtual. So if you, should be at your feet.
And it rolls away.
Yeah. So if you go to teleport,
Yep.
those point markers right there are 10, 15, 20, and then 25 feet. And those are the distance that we originally tested at. So go ahead and go to 10 feet and try to
From
hit
the target.
Yeah, try to hit the plus side of the y-axis on the target.
Plus side.
Yeah,
And I missed.
and we're there. That's where.
Alright.
Quite a few struggles with this project was learning Unity. Really, I mean, that's what we're programming in, and
It was mainly for learning purposes. Trying to get used to different devices and APIs. Yeah.
can they see on your phone? Can you see the log here?
Yeah, the console. Yeah, so every time it hits the target, it logs the position and it just says hit. With the
Says
position on
hit
the
and
target.
points, yeah.
That's this point.
Alright, I'm gonna change the script. Yeah,
Which script?
What's great
the target script.
Okay.
to do what?
Can you go a little bit like further this side,
Oh, yeah.
just a little bit closer to the monitor? So
Yeah, it's really easy to kind of lose.
Yeah,
in
so
someone's
what Unity
reality.
does, to write scripts for an object, you use your favorite editor, and we just ended up using Visual Studio, and it's written in C#. You can see all of the objects within the inspector and Unity too, so you can do it graphically. Yeah. What should we say? I don't know. I mean, yeah, it was, results are coming out nicely since we're just now finishing the VR setup in virtual environment.
One of the only things we really need to still work on is the textures, just to make it seem a little bit more
Yeah.
More realistic.
natural.
Our main focus right now was physics and just how everything interacted with each other, and data collection. I think they just finished the data collection.
Yeah. I think that's because the teleport is larger than the floor.
You can't pick it up.
Oh, there it goes.
Sometimes I can, sometimes it clips too much.
I think it's because it's a little bit higher than the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the teleport, you actually make a teleport plane, and you put it a little bit what Unity does is it measures in meters in SI units. So you put it a little bit above your actual plane, your teleporting area, and that's where you go. And those little teleporting points are actually literally called teleporting points. You can set them wherever you want on the teleporting area. From recent research from
Oh, I'm sorry.
from KSU, it found that teleporting was actually probably the best way of moving around. So
it allows you to measure your space closer to what you would think in reality would be.
Yeah. And this is the actual room we modeled in virtual environment. This is a gym room.
It's
a
based on a
racquetball room.
racquetball court.
Yeah, it's a racquetball room. So we actually ran this setup in real life.
Oops, sorry. One of the major problems that we are still currently having is in Unity, every measurement is in kilograms. So
You mean meters?
no, every measurement for weight is in
Oh, I
kilograms.
see what you're saying.
Kilograms.
Yeah.
And reloaded the ball too.
Yeah, there should be
Oh.
better documentation on what units, because I know the plane, when you make a plane, that object plane measures every 10 meters, decameters. So,
Can you look up?
you plug in. And you always have to make sure, because Unity 3 space actually just measures in meters.
Look up how much a tennis ball weighs, because for some reason it got changed in here, and that's why he's having trouble throwing the thing. So one of the issues we have is the mass, because we're used to measuring everything in like pounds and ounces.
Yeah.
Well, you have to transfer all that to kilograms, and kilograms is a very big unit. So if you have something small like a tennis ball, your unit in here is gonna be below 0 or below 1. It's very, very small. And there's also two things that we don't know how to calculate or what it is, and it's drag and angular drag. So we're trying to do some research onto what that is.
So like a wind resistance essentially?
I guess. I looked it up and I couldn't figure it out. But why they're so important is those two variables slow down the object. So if you throw the ball and if you throw the ball right now, it slows down way too fast compared to what you would think an actual tennis ball would. So we've been having some issues with it. So I'm gonna change the mass to the weight of the tennis ball to
0.0585 kilograms.
Alright, throw the tennis ball again. It should
You
be.
can have to save or reload.
Do I?
The
Oh, well,
tennis
yeah,
ball
I'm just
click
doing it
through
right
the
now.
floor.
I'll change it. Actually change it in a second.
No, I mean the tennis ball click through the floor.
Oh.
Yeah, just restart it.
0.585.
The first time ever programming in Unity, we didn't know that changes made while while it was playing
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't save. So we were like an hour into our work and we had to
Yeah.
restart completely because we stopped it from playing.
In other words, like, you can't edit the project while the game is running. And you really want to do that, but you can't, which is unfortunate. Because you designing in Unity, like for VR, you really got to get the feel of the space. You know, you can't just like make something on a 2D screen when you can actually just go ahead and get in it. You know.
I wonder why it's doing that.
There we go. It's probably the floor is calibrated in the wrong spot.
Yeah, it might be just the sensors actually.
Yeah.
Another problem we actually ran into actually is the sensors run off of infrared technology.
that was a fun day.
Yeah,
That was a
so-
fun day.
You make sure there's no big windows. I know the TV right now isn't probably affecting that one, but
It might be affecting
it
that.
might be affecting it. But I don't know. You can't be around anything reflective, or else you actually begin to feel disoriented within VR because the headset just starts to jerk around. Yeah.
Yeah, we did an entire test day in front of a field of TVs that
Yeah.
if you moved, you ended up just kind of flying around. It was beautiful.
Took
Like
us a while.
sliding everywhere. You'd end up in like the middle of nothing. Just, like look on the other side of that wall.
This one?
No, just peek your head
Oh.
through, like actually through a wall. Just keep the ball in frame.
Yeah.
So that right there is what Unity looks like. Oh.
You dropped the
That's
ball.
Dang it. So what he's looking at right now is like what you start out with. It's absolutely nothing. No gravity, no objects, no
All
sun,
gray.
no camera, just complete darkness.
Actually, you do get a sun. You do get a
I
sun.
thought you had to put the sun in there.
No, the sun's actually already in
Oh,
there.
okay.
You can change the lighting within Unity, but you think you get like a default lighting.
So all of that you're seeing is like completely from scratch. And that was really cool to me. It was like, I don't know, if there was nothing in the world, what would it look like? That's what it would look like. So I'll restart so we get the ball back.
Appreciate that.
I don't know if you wanna go into what the inspector means, I mean.
The inspector? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like, every object within the inspector window is a class of itself,
Mhm.
and every little field has its own variables within that class.
For instance, when the ball hits the target, what it is essentially doing is there's a collider on the target itself. I'm on the ball. Okay. There's a collider on the target itself. So for our it's good, I got it. There it is. So when the ball hits the target, it's essentially saying when the ball hits the target, get the point of the ball. And I'm going to take this off the frame and show this. What he was saying on like classes and everything is right here we have ball.transform.position. And what that is doing is it's actually going into the inspector. It's going into the inspector and grabbing transform.position right here. And it's getting the Y and the Z values and pulling it straight into the project. So that was actually a lot easier than what I thought it would be to get variables from the game itself.
Yeah, I mean, Unity is actually surprisingly easy to use. You just need a little bit of practice
And learning.
and learning.
There was a bit of a learning curve.
If you have prior experience to programming, you should be able to pick it up after like a semester maybe, at least the basics like we have.
Like that button does not work and we cannot figure out how to get it to work.
Yeah, I didn't think. Yeah, they're just not random. There are random cubes within VR, but the virtual environment. But they're supposed to be buttons. They're prototype buttons.
That do nothing.
Yeah, they don't really do anything.
Yeah, we should probably take those out. now that
We
we
should
think
say
about it.
that.
I was going to.
Just make it say that was easy.
So, do you know how to hide the button in your glove? I thought this was kind of cool. Like,
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, hide the
okay.
ball into the glove.
yeah. So
Cool.
the yeah, you kind of like a magic trick now. It's like what hand is it in? What I thought was kind of cool is how hitboxes work in games. Like it's a very broad range, and you can kind of see like he's holding it right now. So just because you're holding the ball doesn't mean it's actually where you think it would be in your physical hand, because the way the hitbox is. And you can change that to where the hitbox is right on the tip of the controller, but we just haven't figured out exactly how to do that yet.
Gloves would definitely feel better
Oh, yeah.
instead of a controller. Good gloves
See,
with
there's,
haptic
like, funky
feedback in
things.
them
Yeah.
would probably be the best way to approach VR.
Basically
13,
haptics.
13 minutes. Is that good?
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah,
that
I
you
mean,
have to add?
There's,
I can't think of it.
Okay.
There's some difficulty involved, but overall it's a fascinating experience.
it really is, yeah. I spent entirely too much time on this project. I'll be honest. You kind of get stuck in here.
It is fun.
You can tell him to go
Yeah.
318. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. I just want to get a couple of more minutes.
Yeah.
381.
Hey guys.
There are a lot of prefabricated classes to get you started. For example, being able to throw is a
The gentleman in
prefabricated
the two suits.
script
381.
that can get you
Yes.
started really quick.
So like the average amount of gravity and that kind of thing are already factored in.
Yeah. I think it helped that Unity was made for game development in general, and it's a great way, it's a great thing that HTC went ahead and used that already existing technology and just made it possible to work with HTC Vive. So, yeah, I don't know. Mm. Yeah, I mean, I whatever. It's limitless what you can do in VR. we do wanna get some extra